Hi everyone, it's me, Pearl, and I'm back at Live from the Lakehouse. I've been running around having a great time. This is such an amazing experience. I hope you've been having so much fun on the virtual live stream. And so I just wanted to share with y'all, we caught up with a few attendees earlier today, and we asked them what their favorite feature is. So take a look.
At our company, Databricks really changed how we could scale our data in a much larger setting.
Databricks with their UI, it makes it very user-friendly to create pipelines. So not having a lot of technical knowledge and having a UI that's very easy to use has helped a lot.
It's cost-effective, it's efficient, and instead of struggling with 20 different tools to achieve the same thing, it brings everything together, and it's easy to stitch together. And Unity Catalog especially, from the security perspective, it's all working well for us. The industry talk tracks are amazing, so that's what even my team is looking to, how we can help the customers out with industry solutions.
Because I come from a background that's much more hands-on with creating things from scratch, I really come to appreciate all of the facets of my work that I don't need to do anymore. The side effect of that, of course, is being able to focus on other things, right? Other areas that I've had to worry about. So Databricks does a really good job with sort of removing all of that burden for me and being able to then focus on, things that I do want to focus on.
Databricks has made us a lot dependent on itself, I would say. We have become quite lazy because any struggle we face, Databricks has a solution to it.
Side of that, there is a slight...
So that was actually our workflow change video. This one is actually the one where we asked what their favorite feature was. So please take a look.
My favorite Databricks feature would probably have to be time travel with Delta Lake. It has made troubleshooting and rollback so much easier.
Just recently public previewed something called Databricks Asset Bundles, and this is a really, really big step forward for being able to enable individual developers to create workflows very, very easily.
My favorite feature of Databricks is actually Databricks Terraform Provider, because it makes stuff so much easier.
My favorite Databricks feature is CDF, which captures the changes between Delta tables. I use that quite often in my pipeline, so I'm really enjoying it.
My favorite feature for Databricks is Unity Catalog.
I think Databricks is one of the best data transformation tools.
So I'm actually here to learn about Databricks. We're hoping to get our company on the Databricks platform. So ask me at the end of the conference, and I'll tell you.
All right, we are back on Live from the Lakehouse. I'm Ari Kaplan, one of the co-hosts. Taylor, welcome back, COO and co-founder.
Ari, thanks for having me again.
Yeah, so tell us about what you're up to and your company.
Yeah, sure. So at a very high level, Fivetran is the global leader in data movement for AI, ML, predictive analytics, and data applications. So effectively what that means is we take data from 500 plus data sources, we automatically replicate that data into a cloud data warehouse or cloud platform like Databricks for our customers. Now we have many customers globally, over 6,000 customers using us. And so that's a little bit about Fivetran. Overall, we have a really new feature or capability that we added this last week that I'd love to touch on. When we first launched in 2015, we had a lot of customers asking us, hey, can you load into a data lake? Can you load into a data lake? And back then, loading into a data lake was effectively loading into a data swamp. And so you just dump a bunch of data, and it's not very organized, and it's very hard to work with. And so finally, in this week, we have launched a support for data lakes that we're calling it our managed data lake service. And what that effectively means is we're taking all the data, we're loading it into Iceberg or Delta into our customers' data lake with on S3 or on ADLS, and then that data becomes immediately available within Databricks.
That's incredible. And for those haven't heard the recent announcements with Databricks, you mentioned Iceberg.
Correct.
All the three formats out there.
Right.
Databricks works with their uniform. So
Correct.
even a broader technical partnership that we have, which is wonderful to see.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to see that. There's a couple different file formats, and I think the future architecture that everyone's moving towards is more of a Lakehouse type architecture that Databricks has talked about for many years. I think the acquisition of the tabular team, it helps bring, hopefully, and unite everyone around a smaller set of file formats, because multiple file formats, I think, sort of separates the industry.
Yeah, Parquet, Udi, Iceberg.
Yeah.
And with that acquisition, it's some of the founders of that technology. Right. We don't get the technology, but we got the brains behind it to come on board. But we do get the universal, multi-touch points into it, which helps customers just so much, makes it all simpler. You don't have to move data. You can govern it much more quickly and easily. So one thing you're touching on, customers. That's an incredible number of customers. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're the co-founder.
Yeah.
First of all, how cool is it to, I don't know your backstory of how it got started, but to go to 6,000 customers must be very proud of that.
Yeah, and that's 6,000 sizable customers. We have over 10,000 users, independent companies using the platform today. We have a free tier and a bunch of other ways in which customers can engage. But one notable customer that we've been working very closely with over the last 2 years is National Australia Bank. So National Australia Bank, largest commercial bank in all of Australia, over 10 million independent users or customers on that platform. And they have been monetizing on a single data platform over the last 2 years using Fivetran and Databricks. And the unique thing that Fivetran has helped them with is taking data from over 250 siloed data sources, helping them move off of Teradata to Databricks and move that data into a central platform. We replicate the data ongoing from each of these different databases or data sources, and that creates this unified view for them to build various different AI models. They have a bunch of security models on top of that. They're building really amazing experiences for their customers in app around their baking, their various different baking products. So they've been a fantastic partner to work with over the last few years.
Yeah, and just hearing that changing workflow, I see it better together. So many companies that I know are really asking about Fivetran. How is that helping? From our executives to our field people, since our customers, the performance, the cost, it's one of my favorite better together stories out there for all partners.
Absolutely is. I think of us as the moving truck, and Databricks is the storage unit, sort of, that you're building everything on top of. It's not the best analogy, but we're really the easy button to get data in to Databricks. And I think that's really where where we come in.
Great. So talking about data governance, data security. Tell us more about that. I know you're a big player in the data lakes as well, which is a big part of Databricks. So tell us about that. Governance, security.
Sure. So, I think before diving in on that, one other thing I'll just say is, AI is obviously playing a very big role in everyone's minds today. And I think data really is the lifeblood of AI. And, when we did a survey of we partnered with MIT and did a survey with a bunch of CIOs and other data executives. And what we got back was 80% of their top priority is AI. And then you ask them, hey, well, what is the top priority to help get AI, put together? And they're like, their data infrastructure. How are we getting data together? How are we building on top of that? And so that's the really better together story that we have. We've built this data lake offering because data lakes ultimately is the best kind of place for customers to bring their data into one place where they can do AI, they can do ML, they can do BI. And so we've built this, on top of Iceberg, on top of Delta, that goes, directly integrates into Databricks, and from there we integrate into the catalog, into Unity. We automatically update the tables in an ACID compliant format, and so our customers essentially have a fully managed, data lake offering from Fivetran for all of their AI workloads.
Yeah. And one of the, with that workload centralized is one of the key themes, and I know that's one of the great values that you bring along.
Yeah. I mean, again, centralization is our key offering. We have a lot of customers who have over 2,000 or 3,000 different sources that they're pulling in from. Imagine a very large organization, a lot of acquisitions. They have a ton of different databases. They have a ton of SaaS applications. We're the one platform for them to get data in to like their centralized data lake, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a couple minutes left. I know data quality is pretty good. I know once you have, in order to have quality analytics, quality AI, you need quality data.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think the way in which, and I don't want to get too technical here, but the way in which 5Gen replicates data is it's an idempotent architecture. So that means effectively anything fails, we'll automatically pick up where we left off. We're doing change data capture so we can handle large amounts of data for our customers, and effectively we load it in the exact same format that we're pulling it out. So it's very easy for us to check from the source to the warehouse or to the destination to the data lake. Like, is it exactly the exact copy of the data? Is it has it been correctly loaded? And then we integrate directly into obviously the governance layers from there, and that's how customers know exactly what they have. They can do RBAC and essentially control who gets access to what tables, and so yeah, it's a big part of our business.
Wonderful. I know here at the conference you have a wonderful booth presence here.
Just right
and
over
for
there.
the people that are kind of remote and haven't seen it yet, like, are you doing demos? Are you field execs?
The big thing we have this year is we do like the silent disco demo where you can have the headphones and you can hear really well, but you can see what's going on, because sometimes it's very hard to hear people and you have to shout and it's a little obnoxious. So come on over to our booth 89, and get a demo of our new managed data lake service.
I'm big on social media, and I did see that silent disco thing. That actually caught my eye as I was scrolling by. That's fun. Really cool.
And the lights are like lit up, and it's like it makes it really fun.
Great. So, any final thoughts that you have?
No, I'm obviously just very thankful for the partnership with Databricks, and the Better Together story is real, and excited to continue partnering with the amazing Databricks customers out there. So let's go get them.
Absolutely. I don't know. Do we have another minute, or are we good? All right. I think we're good then. So thank you so much for coming on board. Truly great to see you. I can't wait to have you back, hopefully next year.
Yeah, I'll be here. You betcha.
The whole marketplace is expanding, Gen AI, vector databases, but the fundamentals of that whole security, quality data, that will be a constant.
Yeah.
How that's achieved, the 5Gen Databricks Better Together partner story is something very proud of.
Yeah, we're proud of it as well.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
All right. Bye.
Take care. All right. Are we good to go? Hey, Gaurav, why don't you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Gaurav Saraf, and I'm a senior staff product manager for the DB SQL team.
But for which team?
The DB SQL. So
okay,
the data warehousing.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm using internal lingo here.
Oh, no, I just couldn't hear. It's so loud in this exhibit hall. So DB SQL, one of my favorite topics. It is like one of the fastest, or the fastest
Databricks.
Databricks.
The fastest, absolutely.
The growth, I mean.
Yeah, if you saw the chart, Reynolds chart, it was like, we call it the Mount Everest chart, just going straight up. I think we're now at 7,000 customers who are using the DB SQL product. It is the fastest growing product at Databricks ever. I think we announced many, many months ago that it hit $100 million of ARR. Then a few months later, it was 250. It's obviously way above that now, but we'll announce the new numbers, in the next few months.
We have and then there's like Reynolds at a keynote. Is there going to be another mention in it in tomorrow's keynotes?
There'll probably be mentions. So Reynolds went, and then Ken and Miranda went right after, talking about AI BI dashboards and AI BI Genie, which is some of our new products. And there'll be mentions tomorrow. We've got some 5 or 10 other sessions across Data and AI Summit today, tomorrow, day after as well.
Yeah, so why don't, in layman's terms, tell us about DB SQL. I know there's a lot of other solutions out there. Like, what makes this so powerful?
Absolutely, yeah.
Really best in breed.
Yeah, so what is DB SQL? DB SQL is a data warehouse, SQL analytics on the Lakehouse, right? That's the one big thing, is that all your data is already in Delta. You can do data science on it, but now you can also just directly run data warehousing workflows on it. And so it kind of is a replacement, if you will, for other traditional solutions like, let's say, Snowflake, BigQuery, Redshift. There's many others out there. And so if you're doing SQL warehousing, you come to Databricks SQL and do that. But one of the cool things is that, not only is it a Lakehouse, but we've invested a ton in AI, both in the engine. This is to give you the best performance in the product, but also AI as far as the user experience goes. So this is what Ken and Miranda showed today on AI BI Genie and dashboards as well. So it makes it just the combination of being on the Lakehouse with the UC governance, with this great performance engine, and with the AI user experience. It just makes a great product overall.
Awesome. Now, the word serverless
Yes.
is in everyone's mind here.
Absolutely.
We've had, great of everything going on to serverless, but why don't you explain, what is serverless, paradigm of DB SQL and Databricks?
Absolutely. So before we launched serverless SQL, we had what we call classic SQL, which is you have to bring your own VMs from your respective cloud providers, but that kind of limited what a warehouse could do, and it used to take 10 minutes even to learn your first query. But now with serverless, what happens is we manage all the infrastructure for you. The warehouses start within seconds. I think it's less than 5 seconds now. It used to be 240 something seconds that Reynolds showed. I forget the exact number. And that just means that you can, stop caring about the infrastructure, stop caring about how long a carriers will take. It just runs really fast. But once you do this, what really it unlocks is that when it comes to a warehouse, as your workloads change during the day, you might need more or less compute. So if you don't have a serverless compute warehouse, it means you got to pre-plan in advance and say, oh my God, I'm going to need 10 clusters or 20 clusters and pay for that 24/7. But with serverless, that goes out the door, right? You're just kind of paying for exactly how much you use, and the warehouse automatically scales up and down depending on the usage you have. And we started, I think at Databricks, we started serverless with serverless SQL warehouses, but Ali announced it today. In the next few weeks, every single product of Databricks will be on serverless to give you all the performance, TCO, and kind of less management that comes with serverless SQL.
That's great. And the theme of the conference, data intelligence for all, and tying into that, people often think data intelligence is just like querying your data more semantically. But when we say for all, we're really talking every persona that uses Databricks. The data engineers, people that use DB SQL, as what you're saying, to automatically scale up or scale down based on past prior history. It's almost like the fast lane when you drive on a highway. They kind of shift if you're coming into the city or out of the city. But that's one of the things the data intelligence platform helps with, is that automatic rebalancing, reloading, and that helps it simplifies things. But like you were saying, the start time coming down tremendously, that got applause at the keynote.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, there's customers who are just like, I don't believe it. How is this going to be possible? And we tell them live on calls, by the way, why don't you try it out? Click that button. And they're like, wait a minute, how did that happen? Yeah. How did you start a warehouse within seconds? I'm not used to this. And then they're like, okay, fine, we're going to adopt this product. And then it's not just the start time. I think it's also what it means for the customer's TCO. Right? So I was talking to a customer yesterday, and they came and presented to us the impact of them moving from classic warehouses to serverless warehouses. And they said their cost went down 44%.
Wow.
And their performance went up something like 2 to 3x.
Yeah.
And all they did was move to serverless warehouses, click a couple buttons, move their BI queries over, and boom, they saw the impact. And they were so happy. They're like, we don't need anything from you today. We'll come back for more stuff in the next set of meetings, but we just want to show you the impact you've had on our business.
And that's phenomenal. And I hear that time and time again with different customers of all sizes. Don't always have to have the biggest data set to get the best performance improvement. It could be, that's what's great, is the IO rebalancing could be large, reads.
Absolutely, yeah.
Quick updates, small reads. But one thing that I love is they're like a Venn diagram of 3 circles: the cost, the performance, and the simplicity. Yep. And usually it's a trade-off. Pick one, maybe pick 2, but now you can get all 3.
Absolutely. I mean, in the past, you had to pick 2 out of 3, or maybe 1 out of 3 if you were using perhaps the wrong product. And it's really that if you're using human knobs to go tweak these things, that's what you got to do. But if you've got the data coming in from the system, you've got telemetry, you can feed these into AI models. That's what we've done, really. We've fed them into AI models so that the user can say, wait a minute, I can just ingest the data in and start querying, and the performance is going to be great. So I'm going to get the performance I need. It's going to be low cost, and I did nothing to get there. So the usability is baked in. And if you remember the chart from Reynolds' keynote, we've seen out-of-the-box performance improve by 73% over the last 2 years. And customers did nothing, right? And we learned this both on benchmarks, like TPCS kind of benchmarks, formal numbers, but also customers' actual BI queries. We looked at all the data for the last 2 years, and it just automatically, it has reduced by 73%, which is fantastic.
Awesome. So to bring in perspective, 3 of the most powerful capabilities that we talk about at Databricks is Databricks SQL. It's Unity Catalog, the UC you had mentioned, and then Gen AI or Mosaic.
It's all integrated.
All integrated.
All integrated. Yeah, you can. So what we announced today, again, Randall captured this as well, is that typically AI is left to the data scientists or the ML experts, and the SQL analyst or the business user kind of kept one click away. But now you can actually call these AI models directly from SQL without needing to know how they work, right? And that really opens up the Gen AI capabilities to the SQL users and even to the business users directly without having that knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the middle part, UC, Unity Catalog, like what are your thoughts on that? Like maybe even how it pertains to DB SQL.
Unity Catalog, sorry.
Yeah, Unity Catalog.
So DB SQL is totally integrated with Unity Catalog, right? Unity Catalog is part of the Lakehouse, and DB SQL kind of sits on top of both the Delta Lake as well as Unity Catalog. What you get then is that all the features in Unity Catalog are automatically working at DB SQL. You get governance out of the box. You can control who has access to which tables. Today we announced who can see which specific rows and columns in those specific tables so that you can control privacy and security within your team as well. You get things like Marketplace, you get Delta sharing, and the features keep getting added on and on top of UC.
Yeah, that's like super. And like Unity Catalog, like also once you register in it, one of the things I gave a keynote presentation on data intelligence, actually dropped a book this coming week, Data Intelligence for Dummies. Yes. And intelligent search, like it used to be semantic, semantic search, it used to be just like keywords. You just type in the word churn. But now with Unity Catalog, if it's registered and the data is in DB SQL, then once it's registered in Unity Catalog, you could ask a question, not just churn, but it may know the context of what the data is and understand revenue equals 0 or what have you. So that's one great thing is the better together, DB SQL with Unity Catalog, you got the governance and the semantic search benefits.
Yeah, this is where we kind of say that, doing all these workloads on Databricks is great because Unity Catalog allows the AI to know your data. It just doesn't know like public data at large, but it knows your data, your tables, your schemas. And then if it's English language, because it's trained on large models, it knows revenue can also mean things like, let's say, business value, or it can mean profits in a different language. If you also some calculations, it can help you find these right columns and kind of do it automatically for you. And that's where AI Genie comes in.
Yes.
Right? Where you can type in, hey, what is the revenue of my company? And there might not be a column in your table that says revenue, but it might be named slightly differently, like just REV.
Yes.
And it can do that for you automatically and know that that's the column you're interested in. Let me show the result. Let me plot on a chart without any coding needed on your side.
Exactly. And semantically, some companies' revenue is at when they make the purchase. Another company, they have to wait 30 days to make sure it clears past like the return of like a outfit that's
a classic example is in e-commerce is typically called GMV. The gross merchandise volume or gross merchandise sales and not revenue. And that's like, how do you know that?
Yes.
And if you're a user who doesn't know those technical terms, you might go to the wrong table or the wrong column. Whereas in this case, because again, we understand how you're querying your workloads, we know the tables, we know the schema, we can just make that connection for you.
Excellent. So we have under 2 minutes left.
Yes.
I would ask you, like, what have you either seen at this conference or most excited about in the coming months?
The coming months, I think the most interesting parts are really our AI investments on two aspects. One is, I think I mentioned these, but I'll mention it again. I think I've been in the industry for long enough that people have been saying, oh my God, we're going to open up analytics to business users. And that promise has been going on and on forever. I don't think it's actually there until LLMs came around and said, wait a minute, we can do this. And we took that product, we stuck it inside AI BI Genie. I'm using a product internally, and I'm like, wait a minute. It's finally there that we can take these tables and unlock them to hundreds of business users and companies who don't now need to wait on a data analyst to run the code for them to give them an answer. So I think that's the part we're like super interested in. The second thing I mentioned was calling LLMs directly from SQL. So if you know a little bit of SQL, you can say, great, I've got all these data sets. I don't want to write all the Python and crazy code to go figure this out. Can I do sentiment analysis on my customer reviews without knowing how to do sentiment analysis on my customer reviews?
Yes.
And the answer yesterday was no. Answer today is yes. And I'm really excited to see how customers are going to use this and kind of really empower their business users in the companies.
Well, great. Well, we're going to wrap up, but thank you so much for everything you do. The entire team does. Very exciting times, and it, in the end, adds value to the market, adds value to our customers. So thank you for coming on and sharing your experiences.
Thank you, Ari. Thank you so much.
And now we're going to bring Pearl. Thank you.
I skate right on it. Yeah, you're staying.
Okay.
All right, we are back with a special guest, Jonathan Keller. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Pearl. It's Jonathan Keller. I'm Vice President on the product team here at Databricks. Lead a lot of cool parts of the portfolio, Delta, Unity Catalog, as well as our Databricks SQL product line. So thanks for having me.
Yes. How's your week been so far? Well, I mean, the week just kind of started, but how's your summit been?
It's been a lot of fun, but a little hectic as well, I must admit. Lots and lots of customer meetings and sessions and stuff like that. So, but it's really been fun. It's an amazing vibe, you get to see all the customers and they're so excited about a lot of the features and things coming out.
Yeah.
So I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, have you given any sessions yourself, or are you going?
I lucked out for the most part. I've got some of the partner summit stuff, and but mostly I've been like just wall-to-wall customer meetings. So that's kind of been my thing.
Well, it's always good to hear from customers, but I kind of wanted to know your role as VP of product between Unity Catalog, Databricks SQL, and you said Delta.
Yeah.
What's your favorite product?
Ooh, I love all my children equally. I have no favorites.
You have to choose.
I got to go with Unity Catalog.
Okay, why?
Mainly because, if you're not familiar with Unity, it's like kind of the backbone of the data intelligence platform. And it's just fundamental to kind of everything we're doing. And so it's really cool to see how Unity building connections with your data, your structured data, your unstructured data, your ML models, and that, the lineage and connections that it's building across all of your data, then being used to drive so much intelligence, whether it's helping the assistants do a better job, right? Helping you write code, whether it's, the lineage helping you do something, powering the new AI BI stuff that was demonstrated today at the keynote. And so it just kind of has this sort of multiplier impact across the entire product. And it's kind of unique. No one else has it. It's kind of, it's really taken off in the industry, and it's just been amazing to see what we've been able to do with it in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I work with Unity Catalog and Databricks SQL, and I will have to agree, the biggest thing with Unity Catalog for me is that it's really different. Like when you use the word unique, I'm like, that's like the perfect word to use for it. So,
yeah, I love all the children as well. Adding in Mosaic there, in one of our big three. But yeah, just gave a 40-minute long presentation, and the semantic capability, once your data is registered in Unity Catalog, the entire organization can search through it in the context and the knowledge of the domain. So the example I gave was this, the IMDb, which is like the movie database. And it doesn't just know it's a movie, it knows the word film or production. And then it literally, I didn't pre-can anything, or there's no mad, tweaking behind the scenes, but it was which producer makes the big bucks. And it knew big bucks means money. It knew what column money, dollar revenue was. It knew the year column, and it put it all in context without me programming.
Yeah.
Or it could do it for you, or you could say, show me the Python, show me the R, show me the Scala code behind it.
It's really unique. I mean, I've been in data for quite a while, and this idea of text to SQL or whatever has been around, and it's always sucked. Maybe the demo looks good, but then it's always sucked in practice.
Yeah.
And this combination of Unity learning all of your data and the connections, and you know how to query your data, so it learns from every query you run, and everything gets better and better. It auto documents things, so you get the suggestions and comments and all that kind of stuff. And then the agentic flow where you can learn it, give it new data. It's just kind of amazing. It's we're using it it's one of those things where we're actually using it internally to monitor Databricks SQL and things like that. And it was hey, what customers are about to churn? Or what customers are the time? And he was what do you define churn? I'm like, yes. and then it remembers and answers, and then gets better and better. And so it's really kind of revolutionary. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so there's been news that Unity Catalog is going to be open source. What are your thoughts on that? What do you look forward to?
Ali kind of teased it this morning, didn't he? Matej's got a full talk on it. So
of course.
I balance how much I say. But I think it's really valuable thing. One part of Unity is about open connectivity to everything. So we're investing heavily in being able to put all of your data into it, whether it's tables, Delta, Iceberg, structured data, unstructured data, even if it's in other data platforms with our federation capabilities. So we're connecting to BigQuery, Snowflake, Google, Redshift. It doesn't matter. It's all about getting all of your data addressable, queryable, secureable, and then feeding the data intelligence platform. And open sourcing it really helps with the other end of that spectrum, which is making that data and insights available to everyone and all of the engines and capabilities. And so I think it's an amazing combination of, Delta plus Uniform being bolstered via the Tabular acquisition, and then open source and Unity Catalog just makes it a platform that, I was talking with a lot of the partners and vendors. They're just very excited about. Like the clouds are integrating with it already. You'll see some great launches coming up. It's going to be really powerful.
Yeah, one thing that was fascinating to me is during my presentation, there's like maybe 300 folks in the room, and I said, "How many of you is it your first summit?" Everyone but one raised their hand. I'm like, wow. I did the converse. I'm like, let me make sure I got that right. How many of you been here before? And one person did.
Wow.
So for people who are new out there, open source, you had mentioned, that is huge to the heart and the pulse of Databricks. Our founders were, creators of three of the biggest open source out there. Delta Lake, I think you had mentioned earlier. It's incredible. MLflow, Apache Spark, probably the biggest. We're talking tens of millions of downloads a month of that. So the Unity catalog, but the whole open source thing is wonderful. And also we're a community. Open source is a community. It's that great partnership with everybody out there. We love having you being part of the success of it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm going to talk about Databricks SQL because, again, Unity Catalog, Databricks SQL. I shared a little bit in the keynote demo about, the AI functions and the different ways we make analysts, more savvy, more excited to make their data work for them. So in your opinion, what are some other things that analysts can look forward to when using our data warehousing solution, Databricks SQL?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that come to mind immediately. One is the commitment to making it just get better and better and better, right? If you roll back 2 years ago, nobody was talking about Databricks SQL in the context of being one of the best data warehouses. Now, we've got customers echoing it, we've got analysts echoing it, and so it's just amazing the progress that's been made and the commitment. I think Reynolds showed the statistic today where it's like 73% faster than it was 2 years ago or kind of thing. And, the whole team is just committed to that. And that's a full stack effort, whether it's, how we're integrated with the clouds, the storage layer, the catalog layers, the engine, the processing. So we're just that commitment to it's just getting better and better is pretty amazing. From the forward-looking stuff, it's really about ease of use.
Yes.
It's a very simple experience. There's some really cool stuff coming. I wish we could tease more about how it's going to be so just completely simple to use. Even if it's just a team or a department and not your entire company, just being able to get the value out of it. I think the connections with sharing is really opening a lot of opportunities as well. You're seeing, it sucks that Matei's keynote's tomorrow, so I'm like, how much stuff can I tease? But I think the sharing and the marketplace angle is really opening a lot. It's no surprise we're going to talk about our clean room solution tomorrow. They're just really bringing this sort of that simple experience to a broader set of data and insights across, whether it's your data, a partner's data that you buy in the marketplace. I think it's pretty amazing. And then, of course, the continued AI innovations and that kind of stuff. Like somewhat of what you showed, just being able to do these end-to-end RAG applications between SQL and that kind of stuff. It's going to make a lot of things that SQL analysts could do in the past, our data engineers could do in the past, now be trivial in SQL. And so I think it's kind of a 1-2-3 punch kind of thing. It's going to get just better and faster.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I think we have 1 minute left. Anything?
Ask him something fun. Ask him something fun.
I always love travel. I love world travel.
Yeah.
On product side, do you get out, you talk to customers, you talk to internal employees?
We do, yeah.
All work.
With Databricks is, my career history is Microsoft and Google, and I have to say, by far the most customer-focused company I have ever seen. The amount of hours and time in person, virtual, on the road spent with customers is really amazing, and it's great to have that connectivity and everything like that. So,
all right, well, we're
really love it.
Getting the signal, throw to break.
Cut.
Thank you so much.
Blame you, Mike. It's your fault.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jonathan.
The shit.
Seriously, we're huge fans of we're evangelizing, we're promoting all those three main themes. But
yeah.